speaking about analytical philosophy, we can have in our minds two different things. On one hand, the term analytical philosophy refers to some trends in modern philosophy. In Poland, the Warsaw School is a good example of analytical philosophy in the first narrow sense. On the other hand, the term analytical philosophy refers to a certain method of philosophizing, and this method is used by philosophers of various periods in the history of philosophy. In the second, broader sense, analytical philosophy is identical with philosophy treated as a scientific discipline and practiced with all rigors which are obligatory in, so to speak, normal science. In short, these rigors consist in requirement to formulate our convictions as precisely as it is possible, and to justify them as strongly as it is possible in a given moment. My book, Polish Analytical Philosophy, concerns the Polish analytical philosophy in the second, broader sense of analyticity. It is, in fact, a panoramic survey of the Polish philosophy from 13th to 20th century. In this its part, which can be regarded as analytical or scientific. The book consists of three segments. In the first segment of my book, I give a general presentation of contribution of Polish philosophers to analytical philosophy during 8 centuries of the development of the Polish philosophy. A special attention is given to achievements in the area of logic, which is, according to common opinion, our philosophical speciality. I should like to stress the significance of the chapter Polish philosophers during the Second World War. This chapter shows the real force of the Polish philosophical milieu, which was able to work creatively even in the extremely hard conditions of the war, tending to the total destruction of the Polish culture. Of course, this panorama of interests and trends in the Polish analytical philosophy taken in toto is not its full picture. I am not prepared to give such a full panorama. My justifying is that there is no historian being ready to do it successfully. I can only state that I intensively work to realize this aim. In the second segment of my book, I show the international background of the Polish analytical philosophy. This segment is also very sketchy and selective. I limit myself only to 2 examples of German-speaking philosophers who influenced the Warsaw School or were influenced by it. These are Alexius von Meinong and Heinrich Scholz. In the third segment of my book, I present 6 great figures of 20th century Polish analytical philosophy: Kazimierz Twardowski, Leon Chwistek, Władysław Tatarkiewicz, Tadeusz Czerzowski, Roman Ingarden and Jan Salamucha. Also in this case, except of the presentation of Salamucha's views, I do not give the full picture of their philosophical activity. However, my presentation is diagnostic in this sense that it allows to build up an adequate image of the style of making philosophy by modern Polish analytical philosophers. What else does my book propose to readers? Firstly, it contains the full bibliography of the Polish logic from the second half of 14th century to the first half of the 20th century. Secondly, it contains several dozen of portraits of Polish analytical philosophers, which are in a great part very hard available and hail from my private, rich iconographic collection. Władysław Tatarkiewicz, one of the heroes of my book, said in introduction to his monumental history of philosophy that he liked to have before himself portraits of the philosophers whose views were the object of his actual studies. I give quite similar feelings in this respect. One says that the true science is a science without names. The history of science can go without portraits of scientists, but I think such a history is somehow incomplete.